Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are an empath or a highly sensitive person, this video is going to help you so much in learning how to regulate your emotions. I'm going to give you some tools in order to handle your emotions in an easier way, in a way that doesn't interfere too much with your life, and in a way that you can also help others because you can help yourself. So stay with me and let's get into it. One thing I noticed about being an empath is that I didn't know how to self-regulate, meaning regulate my own emotions. I always needed someone to make me feel like I was okay, to feel okay. I always needed validation of some sort in the external from a person so that I could feel fine. If I was having trouble with my own emotions, or I was feeling confused or insecure, I always needed something external to make me feel that I am okay. We need other people to regulate our emotions because we haven't learned how to self-regulate. It is only when you're faced with your emotions and you can't escape from them that you're able to do the work. I know it's hard when you have very heavy emotions coming in and you don't quite know where they're coming from. You're trying to analyze them and intellectualize them and understand, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this? But that puts you into anxiety. That doesn't allow you to actually process the emotions. Something that we do so much is feeling something and automatically think about it, like, why am I feeling this? Where is this coming from? I shouldn't be feeling this, and try to give it a reason or give it a meaning so that we process it through the mind. But emotions are in the body, it's in the subconscious. So if we bring that to the mind, the emotion is still going to be inside of your body. It's not going to go anywhere. You're just coping with it in a way that makes sense to you, but that doesn't mean that the emotion has been completed, has been processed, has been felt to completion so that it can actually leave your body and make you feel better. So when I'm talking about self-regulation, it means that we don't need someone else to tell us that we are okay for us to be okay. You don't need to borrow someone else's nervous system to regulate your own nervous system. Because when we are looking for external regulation, it means that we do not feel safe inside of our body to do so. So when you don't feel safe inside of your body, you're going to look for other people who are probably more emotionally stable, who probably feel like a rock or have a solid emotional intelligence, if that makes sense. You're probably gonna rely on those people to regulate your own emotions. But if you do that, you're not learning how to regulate your own. This is going back to your inner child, your inner 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, even 6-year-old. That inner child who felt heavy feelings and had no clue how to regulate those emotions, how to process those emotions. Probably you didn't have an emotionally available adult in your life who taught you how to do this. And it's not your parents' fault, it's not your fault, it's life and it happens. And now as an adult, as someone who is conscious and aware, you can learn to regulate your emotions, and you're actually regulating and reassuring your inner child. That's what you're doing when you're self-regulating. It's being with that part of you that feels the heavy emotion and telling them, listen, I am here. I am the adult now, and I'm here for you and with you. Imagine you have a kid, a toddler, and they're going through some heavy emotions. So as the adult, as the solid person, you're here to hold them. You're here to tell them, you're okay, you're fine, and let them feel the emotion. This is not about telling your 2-year-old, shut up, stop crying. No. It's about holding that emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel what you're feeling, and it's fine, and it will go away. Stay with it. Right? Stay with it. So your job as a person who wants to self-regulate is to hold that inner child within when the heavy emotions come up. If you didn't have a parent figure or an adult figure that was healthy, that showed you healthy emotion, you are here to reparent yourself. How would you do it? If you don't have that example, of course, go ahead and ask for help. Of course, do that. You can hire a therapist, hire someone who can help you learn the process of self-regulation, so then you can do that on your own. Most of the times, it's not possible to be the one feeling the heavy emotions and also the one guiding yourself through the process of letting go of the emotion, if that makes sense. So that's why we need each other as people on this earth, as human beings. That's why we need each other, because we can mirror each other. You know, I can hold space for you. I can guide you through that heavy emotion so you can let it go. So it can be easier and easier for you to do it on your own. But at first, it's going to take someone else to witness you. And so part of what I want to encourage you to do in this video is to go and ask for help. Okay, because if you're an empath, you are the giver, you're the one giving advice and holding space for everyone. But who's holding space for you? Who is holding space for you? As much as you hold space for people, you need to have that same amount of support, if not more. Okay, so get yourself a good therapist, a person that is a professional in guiding you through this. I am going to leave you a website on the description box of this video. It's not sponsored. It's what I personally use to find my therapist. You can find a therapist anywhere in the world and just try to match with someone who is aligned with your values as well. It's very important. It's very important. Someone who has the same values, someone who can see you, and someone who can hold space for you without any judgment. So this is the first thing to self-regulation, is to be witnessed in those emotions and have someone guiding you if you didn't have a healthy reference of that growing up. Now, once you know how to do that process on your own to reparent yourself, that's when the shadow work or just the inner work begins, because it's in the moments that are hard. It's in the moments where you're feeling all those heavy emotions that you have two choices. You can either escape the emotion, distract yourself, do something else, or you can choose to stay with the pain and see where it goes, because it just wants to be heard. It just wants to come up. It just wants you to see it. This is the thing. It is painful, but the amount of pain you're going to feel by feeling the emotion is going to last 3 minutes. But the amount of pain that you will feel from that emotion, if you still hold it inside of your body and choose to distract yourself, is going to be infinite. That pain is going to stay there and it's going to create disease. So this is the thing. When you choose bravely not to distract yourself from that and face it right on, this is when the work begins. So what I do, this is what helps me. You can try this. Let me know if it helps you. Also, let me know in the comments as well what you do to regulate your emotions. So what helps me is locating the emotion in my body. Where do I feel this? Let's say I'm feeling anger. For me, it's in my throat area. Anger, feelings of rejection, for example, or loneliness. All of this is in my throat area. So I can feel my throat very tense and constricted. So I locate physically where the emotion is and I put all my attention in it, and it feels physically painful. Right? It can be in your chest, it can be anywhere else in your body that you feel that tension. It is physically painful, and as you feel it, you take deep breaths. You take deep breaths and you exhale and you let go through your breath of that heavy emotion. And you do this until the emotion is gone. Tears can come up, you can shake, your body is going to do its thing to release that. When I do this process, I breathe deeply into the emotion, let it go through my breath as long as I possibly can, and I stay with it and I stay with it, and I let my body release completely. And then I say, what can I learn from this? What's the message that you are here to to give me, because that emotion is wanting to be seen and wanting to be felt by you. That's all it wants. Once you have the message, you can choose to let it go. Or even if you don't have a message from it, even if you are not sure where it comes from, because it can come from this lifetime or other lifetimes, even if you're not sure, you don't have to understand the reason behind. If it has something to say to you, great, amazing. But if it's just something that is beyond your understanding, you can still choose to let it go. You can still choose to say, I am not the emotion. Feel that part of yourself, your higher self, your heart, the part of the consciousness within you that's not the emotion, and choose to let go of that emotion. I choose to let go of this emotion. I choose to release this emotion right now, and probably you're going to release more as you do this process. Allow yourself to deal with your emotions in a way that feels safe for you. The mission, the purpose of this is to create a safe space within yourself to feel whatever you need to feel without shame, without guilt, without judgment. Obviously, when you have heavy emotions coming up, most of the times it comes with layers of guilt and shame. Because let's say I'm angry, and then I am ashamed of being angry, and then I feel guilty of being angry. So there's layers and layers and layers of emotions that you get to clear up to get to the bottom of the emotion. And most of the times the bottom of it is something that you felt in your childhood or very, very early on that has been covered under layers of other emotions. Most of the times, the emotions that we feel afraid to feel, or that we want to escape from, or that feel very heavy, are shame and guilt, because it feels unsafe. It really triggers a survival response. The exercise here that I encourage you to do is to not judge yourself for feeling those emotions and let yourself be with them, because you can separate yourself from them. I feel shame, but I am not the shame. Can I find a way to separate myself from that emotion and see it as what it is? Give it a color, give it a shape. Another exercise that I do that really helps is with my breath. I let go of that emotion and put it in front of me. I imagine it in front of me so I can feel the separation. Sometimes that emotion wants to hold on, or you want to hold to that emotion. You're like, oh my God, but who am I without this? If I felt shame my whole life for something and now it's time to release it, it's part of your identity. So it's hard for you to let go of something that has been part of your identity for so long. So this is your time to remember that I want to live a life without shame around this thing. I want to live a life without guilt. And even if that has been familiar to me my whole life and I want to hold on to it because to me it's familiar, I can choose to let that go, right? And replace it with unconditional love. So this is huge. This is a huge amount of work. This is a lot of work. So that's why I always tell you to have someone with you, have a support system, either a therapist or a coach, someone you trust, someone who doesn't judge you, someone who holds space for you, someone who understands and has the same values as you, so that you can get familiar with the process of releasing those heavy emotions. Opening up about your trauma can be very triggering and it requires a lot of courage, but there is so much value in opening up and being vulnerable, because that will create deeper connections with other people. There is tremendous value in you being held, in you opening yourself up and being vulnerable, because you are clearing up layers of conditioning and layers of emotions that are not only carried by you, but probably by your ancestors, people who came before you, your mother, your father. As you do that, as you allow yourself to open the gates of whatever it is that you're feeling, it's just a wave. It is just a wave, and whenever it's gone, you will feel so much better. The sun is always shining behind the clouds. It's not because there's a huge, massive cloud and it's pouring down rain that the sun is not shining out there. It is shining up there, okay? This is just a cloud that is passing by. Yes, it's huge. It can create some damage. It can be felt very heavily, but the sun is always shining. And that's the truth. Emotions are opportunities to learn and to grow. Good ones and negative ones. I say negative, but there's no good or bad emotions. Shame and guilt are not bad emotions. They're just emotions. It's neutral. We make them bad because of our thoughts and we associate meaning to them, but there's no right or wrong or good or bad. It's just emotions. So as you can feel unconditional love and abundance, you can feel shame and guilt, and it's part of being a human being. And that's why for me it is so important that we have each other as human beings to help each other hold space. It can be a friend, it can be a good family member, it can be whoever it is that is qualified to assist you in the process of reparenting yourself and regulating your emotions inside of your body, because no one can do the job for you. No one can do this work for you. You have to do the work for yourself. So me, as someone who holds space for you, if you book a session with me, I will hold space for you, meaning I will guide you through where is the emotion located, what does it look like, what color it is, what it is trying to say to you, and I will hold the necessary amount of space and time for you to feel that emotion fully to completion. But the one who is feeling that is you, right? It requires tremendous amounts of courage, and once you do that, you will feel liberated. The weight will be off your shoulders and you're clearing up layers of emotions, as I said, not only for yourself, but for your family, for your lineage, for your future kids. It's all beneficial. It's transmuting the dark into the light. Yeah, I hope that this video helped you in some way. Let me know in the comments how you regulate yourself. What exercises do you do? What is it that helps you the most? Let's build a little community in here to help each other. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a blessed day.